week I'd like to talk about the idea of work to publish versus work to finish. This idea is not mine. It is absolutely not mine. I got this from watching a video with the CEO of Patreon and band member of Pomplamoose, Jack Conte. So what is this? I'm definitely familiar with the idea of finishing things. So that doesn't quite work. As Jack says in his talks, finishing, that's something you do with a meal. You finish a meal, or the end of a sports game is finished. There's a winner, there's a loser, there was a set amount of time, there's a finish, and there's a certain sense of satisfaction. You can deal with your emotions at that point, positive or negative. But when it comes to art, that doesn't really apply. When I finish editing a photograph, well, there is no finishing editing a photograph. It's deciding that it's good enough or feels right. But really, at the end of the day, you could just keep going and going if you wanted to and never put it out there. Something else he mentions is there's a ton of creators he looks up to that seem to do this work to publish thing really well. Sorry, let me backtrack. So work to publish is saying, you know what, it's never going to be finished, but my goal is to publish it. My goal is to put out more creations so people can then enjoy them. It's more likely, or you're going to have more people enjoying your work and being impacted from your work if you put more out there versus just holding back and just waiting to make this one gigantic piece that might not reach that many people versus if you had put more out there. Fast forward again, I was mentioning this idea of Jack being inspired by other creators that seem to work to publish really well. And I want to share the numbers that he talks about in his video because this is really, I think, eye-opening. So there's a YouTuber, Freddy W. He has 231 videos. Ella Fitzgerald, 84 albums in her lifetime. J.K. Rowling wrote 7 novels in 10 years. Woody Allen has 49 movies. Hank Green, YouTuber, has 6,868 videos. That's as of Jack doing his talk. That's well past, I'm sure by now. And really at the end of the day, everyone struggles with this. It's not just photographers, it's not just musicians. There's a huge variety of people that create things that struggle with working to publish, knowing when to just put it out there into the world. At the end of the day, as Jack says in his talk, I'm gonna post that in the description, by the way. I highly recommend you watch it because he'll explain it in a far more succinct way than I think I will today. But the idea that there is a vocabulary problem here, that as a creator, we need to stop thinking of the word finish and think of the word publishing because it's more likely that we'll actually push the work out there, even though it doesn't feel finished, as it were. Get it out there. You can always improve each and every time, and you know what? Eventually it will turn into one of them hitting somehow. And that is something else he talks about, something called the funnel system. Essentially this idea that you put a bunch of things in at the top and the funnel has a filter. It's totally unpredictable. You can't control it, but at least knowing the more things you put in at the top, the more likely one of your creations will make it through to the bottom and be successful and reach somebody and make an impact. And I think that's worth it. And honestly, at least for me, I really enjoy creating. So the act of making things and throwing them into this funnel feels good. And knowing that they all have a chance to maybe get filtered down and have an ultimate impact and do something really amazing is an excellent thought. I thought I'd bring this up this week, I should say, because I think it partners really well with what I was discussing last week, which was that brain crack concept, which is sitting on an idea so long that you're intimidated to do it. Well, if we're working to publish, then it also shaves off that anxiety, and it's more likely that I'm talking to myself here, will put it out there. Something else Jack mentioned is that he's not the greatest at this. It takes work for him to think and remind himself to work to publish. It's definitely not a habit for him, and I feel I fall under the same thing. There was a couple years that I was not shooting. I wasn't photographing things. I was just riding the full-time comfy job train and just sort of forgetting and getting a little bit too intimidated by putting work out and worried about what people were going to think. But this all has to change. I'm hoping to change, put more things out there. I think I've been doing that, but I would love to amplify it, and I hope you do too. If you have any thoughts on this topic of working to publish or the funnel system, please let me know in the comments. I would love to have a conversation with other creators about this, see what your thoughts are, and definitely watch Jack's video. I don't want to steal his idea by any means. This is Jack's idea and it's absolutely brilliant. So check out that link, and I will see you next week.